So I wanted to delve into the horizontal and vertical expansion of one's knowledge and the balance that has to be achieved between the expansion of one's horizons and the solidification of the knowledge acquisition that has already been attained. And so the question is always, when referencing to scientific inquiry, is how do you balance knowledge acquisition with the solidification of knowledge attained? That is, how do you broaden your horizons while simultaneously solidifying those previously conquered horizons? Because the fundamental issue in scientific inquiry or inquiry in general is that as you broaden your horizons, the horizon recedes. And so you may engage in horizontal acquisition of knowledge, meaning you branch out horizontally and attain new knowledge. But what happens is the horizon recedes, and thus you run into one fundamental issue, and that fundamental issue is the issue of the transient nature of knowledge. So knowledge is transient, thus you have a temporal issue here, referring to the temporal issue of forgetfulness. That is, you expand your knowledge, you engage in horizontal acquisition of knowledge, you branch out horizontally, but then you forget matters, and thus now you have to go back and solidify the knowledge that has been attained already. And then the same phenomena happens even if you engage in vertical broadening of your horizons, meaning you explore a particular concept, but rather than branching out horizontally, you branch out vertically and you delve deeper into that subject. But as you delve deeper into that subject, forgetfulness may ensue about the core fundamentals of that subject. However, that type of forgetfulness is less likely, depending on the concept, than the engagement of horizontal broadening of one's horizons. So you have to find a balance. And to find a balance and to find a methodology by which you can find a balance, you have to look at what the issue is. The issue is temporal, because the fundamental and pivotal issue here is the transient nature of knowledge. Because knowledge is transient and forgetfulness ensues, what you ought to do then is find a balance that counteracts this temporal issue. So one methodology is to spend, say, 1 month engaging in the act of broadening your horizons, say horizontally. And then in the second month, you broaden your horizons vertically, meaning you go back to the subject matters that have been explored, and you broaden your horizons vertically in those subject matters. And then you come back in the subsequent month and you engage in the broadening of your horizons in a horizontal fashion. An issue that may come up here is that in broadening your horizons, sometimes a subject matter will branch out horizontally more so than vertically, or vertically more so than horizontally. And so the question becomes specific to the particular subject matter at hand, and how that subject matter tends to branch out. So it may branch out more vertically than horizontally, or vice versa. And depending on how that happens, you'll have to adjust your methodology of tackling the issue of the temporal issue, which is the transient nature of knowledge, depending on the subject matter at hand. So this is the fundamental issue with knowledge acquisition, the transient nature of knowledge, and then it's counteracted by balancing. This is the fundamental issue with broadening one's horizon in any subject matter, whether it's scientific inquiry or otherwise. And so the question becomes, how do you balance horizontal acquisition of knowledge, horizontal broadening of one's horizons, with the vertical broadening of one's horizons? And then, and obviously, any methodology will have to have a temporal aspect to it, meaning you spend a month engaging in horizontal, in branching out horizontally, and then another month whereby you spend that month branching out vertically. And so this is how you balance out and counteract the transient nature of knowledge and the issue of broadening one's horizons while at the same time ensuring that you solidify the previous horizons that have been conquered.